Okay. So again, having a paper towel is going to be super important. And let me go ahead and clean this off a bit with just some water. Again, you already see how dirty or colorful my hands are now from the watercolors, from the liquid. All right. So this palette or this cover, this lid is used as a palette, right? Where I can mix paint if I want a specific color. All right, so I'm still using the water and the big paintbrush. I'm using the big paintbrush or a flat one because it's easier to cover ground and add water to it. All right, so again, I start by adding water where I want to put where I'm going to be putting the paint. You can actually see the water this time because the cup in my water is tinted with a little bit of green. All right. Don't get too carried away on how much water you add. All right. I'm gonna go with. I have red. No, because if red mixes with green, it's gonna be brown. Let's go with orange. There are certain colors that if you mix together, you will get again a dookie brown. The easiest color to ever get whenever you're using any kind of paint is brown. Things can automatically switch into a dookie brown color. So this orange is already kind of turning a little dookie because there's some blue in here. And when you mix blue and orange, you get dookie. All right, so I just added the paint on the water. And same thing. So if you notice, these colors are not as saturated as this one or as the liquid one. So that's the biggest difference between these colors and the liquid ones. So just to give you a visual of difference. So this will dry way lighter. These tend to dry, they will dry lighter, but not as much as these over here. Okay. So again, the goal is to fill the page with the colors mixing, right? Almost to create like a background. So a background tie-dye effect, right? So you would mix these the same way that I showed you with the other ones. The only difference is these are lighter. Is one easier to control than the other? No, they are both just as difficult to control. They both require water. They both will dry and look a little lighter. These will look a little way lighter than the liquid ones. Okay. Questions on that? This requires way more practice than you think, right? Um, if you are going to be using color for your contour drawing, by all means do it. Um, do it though before you draw anything on your paper. One of the common things that people have issues with is they have their drawing, it's all done, it's nice and clean and neat, and then they do the watercolor on top of it. Well, it happens because it was the first time that they did the watercolors. They just fully got a bunch of dookie colors all over the background. Their drawings disappeared because the background was too dark, right? So this is again why I would suggest you go ahead and do the watercolor first and then draw on top of that. So let me I have my X-Acto knife here. I'm just going to do a quick um, contour drawing of it, right? Disregard. So again, I'm going to do the pencil first. That needs to be a little bigger. Again, all lines connected, right? And then do the Sharpie on top of it. So again, the watercolor background just works as a background, and it adds a little more character to your contour drawings as opposed to just a solid white background. And so this is why I like to show you guys how to use watercolors with this project, just because it lends itself well to what we're doing and it complements it. So do you guys know what these lines are that I created? Does anyone know or can decipher? What are those lines for on the actual object? What do they represent? Yeah, the shiny reflections on it. Yes. So that's why I drew those lines. Most people would just draw the rectangle and the oval, and that's it. Remember, we're looking at all the edges. We're looking at all the little things, the little details that come up, especially with things that are shiny or have a reflection, right? So that would be how I would draw it and with this background. But again, you need to do the watercolor first and then go ahead and do the drawing on top in case you mess up on your watercolor background. And I guarantee you, if you do it that way, if you do the drawing first and then do the watercolor, I guarantee you're going to mess up. And I would hate for you to redraw it again. But if you feel comfortable doing it the first time, that's fine. And if you have to redraw it, then you have until Friday to do it. Okay.